For today's mock draft, let's explore a possibility that hasn't happened before. The three teams with the 14% odds of landing the number one pick, Cooper Flagg, all fall out of the top four. It has not happened yet since the odds were flattened in 19, but there have been three instances in which the two of the three teams with 14% odds have fallen out of the top three. So let's get into this disastrous scenario with today's mock draft that would leave fan bases disappointed and others very happy. Because with the number one pick, we have Cooper Flagg going to the Brooklyn Nets with this randomized order from Tankathon. Cooper Flagg to the Nets, quite obviously. This is what they do. They have a clean slate this year. They have really nothing on their roster besides Nick Claxton and a couple other young guys, but all their guards are free agents. It's a total clean slate in Brooklyn. And if they were to get Cooper, they have a lot of picks. They have a lot of cap space. They could go in a bunch of different directions with him if they do end up getting number one. And within this draft guide, you can explore scouting reports for all of these players, strengths and concerns, comparisons for all of them that you can find in the link below in the description with the Yahoo NBA draft guide. At number two, we get the Pelicans moving up. New Orleans. Dylan Harper would be an interesting fit next to the existing pieces there. It'd work with a Trey Murphy type. It would work with a Herb Jones type. But with Zion Williamson, is there enough shooting? Because with Dylan Harper, as much as you like him, he's a shot creator, he's a good passer, he's a great finisher. Is all of these qualities, all of these strengths, but the shooting, as I note here, 27.8% shooter on dribble jumpers from 2-point range, 29.2% from three. Can he be a primary creator in an offense that also has a non-shooter like Zion Williamson? That's going to be the big question for him. And I do worry about fit there with him, even though he has so many positive qualities. With the third pick, Ace Bailey for the Philadelphia 76ers. Like I note here, Sixers fans would be incredibly happy if they get their pick back, because it's the only top six protected. The OKC could end up with it if it ends up 7 or lower. Ace Bailey, though, does he help you? Like, if you get the number 3 pick, does he help you win with Joel Embiid and Tyrese Maxey and Paul George? I don't think so. He didn't help Rutgers win. To me, if the Sixers do move up into the top 4, we're going to see this team be in a position where they look to trade this pick. Maybe if it's number 1, you keep Cooper, but if it's number 2, Dylan Harper, number 3, Ace Bailey, or anybody else that comes after this, I'm not totally sold on Philadelphia keeping that guy. Number 4, the Houston Rockets, BJ Edgecombe. Jalen Green's not that guy. Jalen Green's not that guy. That's become so clear in this postseason for the Rockets against the Warriors. He scores 38 in one game, single digits in every other game. He's one of the most frustrating players in all of the NBA. He's not that guy. BJ Edgecombe, is he that guy? I don't know. Like, he's not perfect. He didn't show up for Baylor the way that he should have as a potential top 5 pick in the NCAA tournament. But he is a versatile player. He is a superb athlete. That's why we have comps to Victor Oladipo in here, to Benedict Mathurin. Christian Brown is a comp I really like for him because I think Edgecombe has 3-and-D skills that he can fall back on that would make him an interesting fit for them. And number 5, got Con Knipple. This is an interesting spot for Utah. They have the top odds at 14%, the worst record in the league. If they don't get Cooper, if they don't get a top 4 pick, what do you do? Like, who do you take here? Because look at the next few picks. Let's spoil a little bit. Con Knipple at 5. Are the Jazz going to take a big Malawach? I don't think so with all the bigs they have. Are they going to take a guard like Jeremiah Fears or Trey Johnson? I don't think so. They have Keontae George. They have Isaiah Collier. So if they don't end up in the top 3, I think Con Knipple fits a short-term need because of the guards they have and the bigs they have, but also fills a long-term need considering he's a 6'7" wing, a shot maker. He fits alongside all those other pieces. So the reason why I wanted to explore the mock in this fashion was because inevitably on lottery night, there's going to be some disappointed fan bases. Either the Jazz or the Wizards or the Hornets are going to end up crushed on lottery night. Maybe all 3 of them, maybe just one of them, maybe 2 of them. And what are they going to do if they fall? Because for the Wizards at 6, if you fall this far, I have Malawach to them in this mock draft. Is Malawach going to be a great fit long-term next to Alex Sarr in the front court? Maybe. But Malawach grabbed 0 rebounds in his last game with Duke. He was a no-show. He's incredibly raw. Maybe Utah can, maybe Washington can survive in the short term, but long term, like, you're just kicking the can forward. Cooper is the prize here, and I don't see a lot of perfect fits for some of these worst teams in the league. Like, I'm concerned for these teams if they end up falling this far. At 7, Jeremiah Fears with the Hornets. They have 14% odds as well. If they fall this far, another guard next to LaMelo Ball, Jeremiah Fears, Trey Johnson, who are you going to end up taking? As I write here, LaMelo Ball is Charlotte's point guard today, but how sure are we that he's the point guard for the long term? I'm not positive about that. I don't think any Hornets fans are either. So Jeremiah Fears would actually make some sense, because, you know, Charlotte has had multiple ball handlers. LaMelo can play off the ball. Jeremiah Fears gives you some short-term a short-term guy who can play next to LaMelo, and maybe a long-term replacement if he ends up a star. And I like the Jamal Murray, Jordan Poole comps for him. I think he could end up a little bit better than Jordan Poole, though. Trey Johnson, got him going to the Toronto Raptors with the 8th pick. Trey Johnson, better playmaker than he gets credit for, even though these comps, Tyler Hero, Latrell Sprewell, underrated in his prime, by the way, and Nick Young. If things don't work out, see, if you scroll over the comps, an explanation appears. If things don't work out, Johnson could at least be a fun bucket getter to watch, and maybe a meme generator. It's true. Trey Johnson is a very fun player to watch, very emotional, wears his heart on his sleeve. Like I say here, the it factor. He'll toy with the crowds on the road, pump up the home crowd, always looking like a player who genuinely loves every aspect of basketball. I love Trey Johnson. I'm rooting for that dude to be really good. Number 9, Derek Queen, one of the beautiful players to watch in March Madness. Had that leaning game-winning buzzer beater from Maryland. You pair him with Wemby in the front court, a lot of the concerns about Derek Queen disappear. These comps, DeMarcus Cousins, Zach Randolph, Naz Reid, what do all those guys have in common? Up and down defense. Queen's got a little bit of switchability, but he's more of a modern tweener. He's not a great rim protector. He's not yet proven as a perimeter guy either. So you pair him with Wemby in the front court, that's not going to matter. Wemby's going to protect everything at the rim if he gets blown by. And then offensively, Queen's creation ability, the shooting potential is going to manifest in ways that would make for a beautiful Spurs front court. Colin Murray-Boyles got him to the 10th pick for the Portland Trail Blazers. Blazers had a top 5 defense after the All-Star break. Obviously, there's like a lot of meaningless games in there, but Portland trended up. Denny Avdia trended up. A lot of their young guys trended up over the course of the year. And Murray-Boyles from South Carolina, I think would be a great fit for that team, which feels big, long, versatile, and he'd add another defensive presence to that team. Got Jace, 11th pick here to the Dallas Mavericks. I mean, poor Mavericks fans. You trade Luka, 80 barely plays to end the season. Kyrie gets injured, and now he's going to be gone for the majority of next season. Assuming the Mavericks keep those guys, and there's no guarantees that they do, but assuming they keep AD and keep Kyrie and keep trying to contend for a championship, as Nico Harrison says they're going to do next year to prove everybody wrong, Jace Richardson is the type of guy that would make a lot of sense for the Mavericks, because in the short term, he can help fill gaps for Kyrie Irving and the shot creation that team is going to need. In the long term, Richardson showed this in Michigan State, what he does. I have the Derek White comp, the Rip Hamilton comp, because this guy is an off-ball wizard. He moves without the ball. He's got a great feel for the game. He's a cutter. He's a mover. He's a knockdown shooter off the catch. He does all these little things that would help him play next to star players while also providing a bit more creation earlier in the season. Get McNeely at the 12th pick to the Chicago Bulls. They want to be a shooting team, 3rd in three-point attempts this season, but 13th in percentage. McNeely did not shoot threes quite as anticipated this year at UConn. Only 36.7 of his catch and shoot threes, but in high school, he was an elite shooter. He has these hot performances. I feel like McNeely is the type of guy that's going to be a really good shooter in the NBA. Get KJ with the 13th pick to the Atlanta Hawks. You know, I think with KJ, man, some people have him ranked in the top 5. Some people have him outside the top 10. I think I have him 10th on my board. I haven't updated the board yet. he makes sense for Atlanta because the amount of turnovers this guy had this season just pissed me off because Yakachonas would make this beautiful, behind the back crossover, left-handed, no-look pass at one possession. Then the next play, he'd commit this bonehead turnover where it's like, what are you looking at? And I think if you're pairing that dude with Trae Young, it means he's going to have less demand on him to create, and it's going to highlight all the good things he does. The scoring ability, the shooting ability, the fact he's 6'6", he has size. And so I think playing him next to Trae would make a lot of sense and be really good for his career and good for Trae and the Hawks moving forward. Get Yegor to the Spurs with their second lottery pick here that they got from the Hawks because, Atlanta just wanted to give up their pick here, unfortunately, for the San Antonio Spurs. Not unfortunately for the Spurs, unfortunately for Atlanta, but the Spurs get this pick. Yegor Demon, if they get him, add size, add a playmaker next to this group. I know I have them taking Derek Queen earlier, but what's the shame in having a big 6'9" shot creator? Is there a place you'd rather he end up being than San Antonio to help fix his jumper? I love the fit for Demon if he ends up there. Get Noah. I love French prospects. Noah has the same agent, plays for the same team as the legendary Killian Hayes. But Noah's bigger. He's 6'9". Noah's younger. He doesn't turn 19 until later in this year. He's got a different type of skill set. He's not a point guard with a theoretical jumper. He's a forward with versatility, a forward with fluidity on drives to the rim. That's why you get the Nick Batum comp in there. And he's somebody that flashes jumper potential. OKC, 15th pick. What have they done with these picks in the late lottery, mid-first? Alexei Pokusevski, Ousmane Dieng, these big home run swings. A lot of the times you're going to miss. Most of the time you're going to miss. Sometimes you're going to get lucky, like the Milwaukee Bucks did with Giannis Antetokounmpo. And so with Noah, I'm not saying he's going to be a superstar, but there's a small possibility where I think a team like OKC, where you already have everything else, it's worth the gamble. 16th pick, got Neek Clifford. I love Neek Clifford. This might be too high for him. You see a lot of people still have him in the late first or even the early second, but think about Orlando. They suck at shooting threes. 25th in three-point attempts this season, last in three-point percentage. They obviously had their struggles in the postseason as well against Boston. Who are they going to take? Like who is the best shooter available at 16? And then they have a pick in the 20s as well. We'll get to that later. Who are they going to take? Are they telling me they're going to take a theoretical shooter, a guy who might be a good shooter 3, 4, 5 years from now? I just don't buy it. I think Neek Clifford has a lot of appeal to some of these teams in this range, whether it's Orlando, whether it's OKC, whether it's San Antonio, whether it's Atlanta. All these teams right now drafting, Chicago at 12, the 12 to 16, even Dallas at 11. All these teams in this range, to me, make sense for Neek Clifford. And so I have him going to Orlando at number 16. I expect we're going to see him end up in this range after the combine. I think he'd be a player right away for the Orlando Magic. Number 17, this is what I'm saying with some of these prospects we have coming up. Number 17, Will Riley to the Minnesota Timberwolves. 18, Traore going to the Washington Wizards. These guys are theoreticals. They're young guys who flash upside. Minnesota, they did a similar thing with Rob Dillingham last year, trading up for him. That's where I'm following this logic with them taking Will Riley out of Illinois. Just a gamble. Maybe Will Riley, you're drafting him a year earlier than he would be a top 10 pick, but he's a gamble. Nolan Traore, been a really up and down year for him overseas, but exactly the same thing here for Washington. You don't get Cooper with the number 1 pick because I have them falling this year, but in this mock, but with Traore, he's a home run swing. Maybe he turns into something. I got Asa going to the Brooklyn Nets with the 19th pick. They get Cooper with the first pick in this mock. They don't really have much else. I know they have Nick Claxton, but he might not be the long-term guy there. Asa Newell, really good player. I like him a lot out of Georgia, and honestly wouldn't shock me too much if he ends up going in the lottery. When you think about his versatility, switchable defense with size, 6'11", length, has potential to shoot on offense, offers rim protection, offers switchability. That's valuable. That's valuable in the postseason. And I think a lot of teams might see appeal in that late lottery range. So 19 might be too low for him. Carter Bryant to the Heat with the 20th pick. Again, another swing here. I'm not really sure what direction Miami's going to go here. I know, Marcus Morris, I had him on my podcast earlier this week, and he says the Heat are the best team for Giannis. I don't see it. Like, what's the appeal with the Heat right now? Yeah, you got Bam Adebayo. Yeah, you got Tyler Hero. You got Andrew Wiggins. Khalil Ware had a great rookie season in that front court. I had him on one of my all-rookie teams. But are they ready to compete for a championship? I'm not there yet. To me, they're a team that should be taking some swings, and Carter Bryant's one of those guys. Some people have him ranked in the lottery. Others view him as more of a guy in the 20s. Very raw, but very athletic, shows flashes. I get the Jeff Green comp, Trevor Ariza comp. What I have written here for Jeff Green, Kevin Garnett once said Jeff Green had Hall of Fame potential. I'd imagine fan bases will be tantalized by Bryant's flashes of greatness in a similar fashion. That's where I'm kind of at with Carter Bryant. I see the upside, but I'm not sure about the stardom yet. Good, Joan, to the Utah Jazz right here. Very raw player here. I think with him, a lot of people have him in lottery. A lot of people have him in the 30s. We put him somewhere right now in the middle. Utah taking a swing. Again, they don't get their big earlier in the draft. They take a swing now with a younger guy, somebody that could become a player long-term. At Yaxel, a lot of people love this guy. Out of UAB, small mid-major school. He's going to be transferring to Michigan this year, just testing the waters. This dude puts up absurd numbers, like 20 rebound games, 30-point games, near 10 assists as well. It's like Giannis numbers at the mid-major level. I get the Paolo Banchero comp for him in here. And that's not necessarily like a talent level comp. It's more of a style level comp because of how he checks so many different boxes on the team. He's somebody that could very well go back to school, or he rises in the draft and he becomes a lottery pick. Pre-draft workouts, NBA draft combine interviews are going to be more integral for Yaxel than maybe anybody you're going to be seeing in the late first round this year. Maybe more than anybody. Teams are fascinated by him. 6'9", with shot creation ability. If he's there for Atlanta at number 22, could be a potential major steal. 23, the Kalkbrenner, 5-year senior out of Creighton. The Pacers, Miles Turner is going to be a free agent this summer. All their backup fives are going to be free agents as well. So they're going to be the East semis right now. Got a big series against the Cleveland Cavaliers. But looking ahead here, if they lose their bigs in free agency, even if it's just like Ian Jackson and Thomas Bryant, you're going to need a backup 5 behind Miles Turner. Kalkbrenner would make a lot of sense for them because he can provide some spacing, provide some rim protection. I love that dude. I think he's going to be a good player, even if he's not drafted until late first or early second. Got Phylon to OKC here. Another swing, man. Like, how do they have all these picks? It's just crazy how OKC has all these picks. Honestly, I think this might be the year that OKC consolidates and moves up. That's my bet. This is the year they consolidate picks here. Because how many rookies can you really add? It just doesn't make sense here. But Phylon, he's testing the waters out of Alabama. I'm not convinced he's going to enter the draft this year. I think it's going to be a lot of depending on, does he get a first round promise? But I like the progress he made this past year at Alabama. He's just not a sure bet quite yet. And that NIL money could be pretty good for him if he ends up returning. Walter Clayton, hero of March Madness out of Florida. If he lands in Orlando, how perfect would that be? Stay in Florida. You get a lot of Gators/Magic fans, I'm sure, that are out there. If he goes to Orlando, a better version of Cole Anthony? Maybe. I would hope so. The dude's a bucket getter. So I'd love to see him land in Orlando, help figure out their shooting situation, add some creation. Todd Pettiford would be a pretty good pick as well. I got Pettiford, another guy testing the waters, going to Brooklyn with one of their 2 firsts in the late first round here. We'll get both of those. Hugo Gonzalez as well with the 27th pick. Is Brooklyn going to use all these picks? They basically have a clean slate. I'm not convinced they're going to go use all of their picks this year, but I do think if they end up with Pettiford, Gonzalez, and obviously Cooper in this mock with the first pick, like, you're doing pretty damn good. I love Pettiford. I have him ranked higher than a lot of others do. I think he's a lottery talent, even though his last game for Auburn wasn't great. Reminds me so much of Mike Conley with that offhand floater he has. Left-handed shooter with a right-handed floater. It's gorgeous. And then Hugo Gonzalez, Gavoni, over at ESPN Draft Express has him as, I think, in the 20s or the early 20s or late teens. I'm not quite as high on Hugo Gonzalez, but I see the appeal as kind of a 3-and-D style guy. Danny Wolf going to the Boston Celtics. Wolf might end up higher, but I have a hard time finding great fits for him in that 20s range. And plus, he's 21 as a rookie, a little bit older. I'm not sure he's going to shine in pre-draft workouts unless he's fixed his jumper, which has been highly inconsistent throughout college, even prior to his transfer to Michigan. But ultimately, like, the Celtics need a big. Al Horford's getting old. Kristaps Porzingis is injury prone. They got to have another guy in the pipeline that can replace them long term. So that's why I got Wolf going to Boston. Stanford, Maxine Reynaud going to the Phoenix Suns. I love Reynaud here. 7'1" guy. Reminds me of like a Brook Lopez type because he's a big dude that can post up or shoot threes. Where they differ is Reynaud can do a little bit more off the dribble. Great paint protector. To me, he's somebody that could raise his draft stock throughout the pre-draft process. And this is what Phoenix needs. Like, they need a big. They need a big. And if they're going to be trying to compete, which I think they're gonna, I reported this prior, that the Suns don't really care about getting their own picks back from Houston, but that's because they don't want to bottom out. The Suns want to continue competing, benefit off of the picks of others, and not be a team that sucks and losing, trying to benefit off of their own misery. They want picks from others, if anything, if they're trading Kevin Durant or even Devin Booker. But if they keep any of those guys, Reynaud is a great fit for them with the 29th pick. Last one here in our first round mock. Rasheer Fleming out of St. Joseph's going to the Los Angeles Clippers. Fleming, he'd be a great fit, I think, right away for the Clippers. An upgrade over Ben Simmons, who can't even hit the rim anymore. I mean, boy, I thought the Clippers might actually win that series after that Game 3 win, the blowout. I was wrong to believe in the Clippers. I should have known. Decades of history. Just very sad. But Fleming, maybe that's a good consolation prize for them because Fleming's a baller, dude. Hustles his ass off. Versatile player. He'd be a great fit as a backup 5 for them in place of Ben Simmons. That's what we got for this mock. That's the first round. You can find the second round as well in our NBA draft guide. Check that out. Link in the description below. Go explore. We get comparisons. We got strengths and concerns. It's all in there. Go check it out. We're going to be doing some more mock drafts in the weeks to come, so make sure to subscribe to Yahoo Sports on YouTube. Subscribe to the Kevin O'Connor Show, wherever you get your podcasts. More mock drafts to come before the lottery and definitely after the lottery, when we're going to be looking more at intel, trying to find out where these players are going and where they might fit best. But for now, we're having some fun with these because the order has not yet been determined and the draft combine hasn't happened yet. Player stocks can rise and fall. The process has just begun, folks. There's a lot more to learn about these guys. I'm excited for it. I'll be in Chicago for the draft combine. We'll have some content out of there as well. I'm excited about it. Thanks for watching today. See you soon.